I got my first relaxer at the beauty school. And I remember they described my hair at the time before the relaxer, like my hair was like a sponge.
Trying different hairstyles gave me that expression and individuality.
Cornrows, that was the style of choice. Cornrows with beads, with the aluminum foil at the end.
Favorite style right now, my fro, my bang, and then it's a whole process. So
if you're distracted by my hair, that's a reflection of your own insecurity and your own projection onto me.
I don't think there is an ugly phase in hair. I feel like, if anything, that is the time to really connect with yourself and realign how you view hair and identify what hair means to you and the beauty of it, and just enjoy every part of that journey.
Hey y'all, my name is Anastasia and this is my Detangled story. Hello everybody, my name is Anastasia Johnson, your host of the Detangled Story podcast. This podcast explores the tales of Black hair, history, and healing. Through storytelling, reflection, and real-life experiences, we'll be unraveling the truth woven into every curl, kink, and coil. Today's guest is Dawn Moore. This episode was recorded in 2024, but we're happy to share Dawn's story with you today. So enjoy. So first, I want to just have you talk about your hair journey in general, kind of starting from early stages into where you are now. Just give us kind of like the rundown of your hair journey.
Sure. Okay. So let me see if I can go back as far as I can remember. As a girl, I had definitely had a head full of thick hair. So my mom often actually kept my hair in cornrows. That was the style of choice. Cornrows with beads, with the aluminum foil at the end. That was my young kid hairstyle. So as I moved up, by the time I got to like sixth grade, that was kind of when relaxers kind of became a big thing. And at the time, my elementary school would have these special field trips where they would allow us to go to like a beauty school, and we would pay like $1.50 to get our hair done. And so that was the first time I actually got my first relaxer. I was 12. And I begged my mother to let me get one. So I got my first relaxer at the beauty school. And I remember they described my hair at the time before the relaxer, like my hair was like a sponge. Like it just literally soaked up water. That's how thick it was. So I got my relaxer and I pretty much just wore my hair in a wrap. And then I went through a phase where I wanted to do a lot of updos. So it was updos with a lot of gel just slapped in my hair with the little Aaliyah swoop. So that was the thing during that time in middle school. So I wore my hair like that. And by the time I got to high school, I started kind of dibbling and dabbling and with like the braids, which I always felt like were always too tight. They just were never comfortable for me. So I would always pay a lot of money only to like take them out after like a day because I just couldn't take it. And then my mom, she wore her hair a lot of French roll styles, updos, and she was getting relaxers too. So she actually started going to a dermatologist and her hair started thinning like right at the top. And I remember going to an appointment with her and, they looked at me and said, if you don't stop getting these relaxers, you're going to basically be going down the same path. And I was like, oh, okay. So by my college years, I still kind of went through the relaxers. I started getting in the South. They called them doobie wraps. They were real fluffy and curly and bouncy. That's how I wore my hair. And by the time I got into my senior year, that was when I decided to go natural, to go back natural. So I stopped getting relaxers and I just wore my hair natural. I would kind of get the roots back in the day, old school, get it pressed. And just kind of let the ends do what they do. And I would just cut off a couple inches every time until it grew out. And then once I got through that phase, after about a year of wearing it natural, I kept my hair in 2-strand twist. And after that, I was like, you know what? Let me just lock my hair up. And so I got locks. I went ahead and locked my hair up. Best decision I had made, I think, in my hair journey overall. I wore my locks for 16 years. They were waist length. And then once I got to the point where I felt like I was about to be done, I kind of started just trying different things. I would shave the back, shave the sides, wore it in a pixie, cut them back up to my chin, grew them back down again, colored them, and all of those other types of things. And then it got to a point where my scalp started to get really sensitive. And as you get older, your hair texture starts to change. So my hair texture went from that really thick hair, coarse hair, to really fine, thin hair. And so now all of the weight of my locks from all of those years started to be too much for like the new hair at my scalp. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to just cut it. And so I just cut them. After 16 years, I just went ahead and cut it. And I wore my hair in this tapered style where it was shaved around the sides and the back and it was high at the top. And I just wore my hair in wash and goes. And I did that for about a year or two, which I loved. And that probably was the most recent change. And then I decided to go from there to just cutting it all off and just go straight, like, bald. And a part of that too is then I started going to the dermatologist myself, because one of the things that I noticed was from having my locks and the weight of it, I did started to get, like, I guess you could say maybe traction alopecia. So I was diagnosed with that, but also my mom has alopecia. So it could be a combination of genetic things or just from, different health reasons, whatever the case may be or why I have it. That's what I have. So I was like, you know what, let me just do away with anything that's heavy on my scalp too much. And I was like, let me just get used to seeing my face just in case one day I got to just be bold. So I just embrace where I am today and I love it. I don't miss my locks. I loved every phase of my hair journey, but I'm really happy where I am, now with my hair. So.
Yeah, that was pretty much like going to be the next question. Like, where is the relationship now with your hair? You had a lot of phases, man. Hey, that's a lot of phases. That's a lot of phases. I was not that experimental with my hair at all. But
really?
No, absolutely not. I am like, oh no, honey, we're not doing that. Cutting.
Yeah, I think especially with my locks, more people was attached to my locks than I was. So I think just the thought of me cutting my hair that was like waist length, they was like, oh my goodness, what are you thinking? Because, our culture sometimes come from this thing of just length defines, it defines so much of who we are, but it really doesn't. And I kind of wanted to just get away from that. Like, my hair literally does not define, who I am or just how I am in terms of being a woman or, feeling feminine or any of those things. So I just went for it. Yeah. And I like coloring my hair. So that's a plus of being able to keep it so short. I could bleach it, throw a color in it, in 2 weeks it's something different. So, but yeah, now in my journey, I'm like extremely happy where I am. I really do love it. And it's a big deal for me because just having a daughter, a lot of the times your kids like to emulate what they see. So now she's in her lock phase. She asked for locks when she was like 3. She's 13 now. And I remember when I came home and I had all my hair cut off, she was like, so what do you think I'll look like with my hair cut off? So I like that she can, embrace those things too, especially as a young girl because of social media and seeing so many different looks. A lot of times they want, the weaves and that type of thing. Not that anything is wrong with that, but, I would rather her kind of just embrace her, natural self.
So when it comes to with all the different phases, what was your longest wash day routine and your shortest wash day routine?
Ooh, my longest wash day routine will probably be from beginning to end. I would say my wash and goes, honestly. Once I started to let my hair grow out from after I cut my locks, and just being so used to having something, a routine that was so simple, now I have to like manipulate my hair. So now I'm going with my own natural curls, learning my natural curls. And from beginning to end, it probably took about anywhere from 2.5 hours. That will be the longest. Just because it's never wash and go. It's more like a wash and style. Like, with the different gels, deep conditioning it and all of those different type of things. That would be the longest. The shortest is where I am now, which is about a good 10 minutes. I wash it, throw some product in it, and go. That's it. So, yeah.
Love that for you.
Thank you.
I literally love that for you. Because I'm still full day journey.
It should be like a wash hour. It shouldn't take a whole day to do our hair, but sometimes it does. I think for me, when it got to the fact with my hair, when it just in its natural curly state, when I felt like it started to take away from my, just my peace, I was like, this is too much. It's taking too much time. I don't have a half a day to spend on hair. It's just too much. Only to do it again in a week, So I was like, this ain't it. So.
I feel that. That's real. So you said a little bit about salon experiences younger. How long was your salon experience? And do you still go to salon? Or are you more so doing it yourself now?
Now I do my own hair now. Well, I do go to a barber, so I do go to my barber every 2 weeks. If I can master cutting my hair, I would do that too. I was always very much so like a DIY girl. So even I went to the salon when I had locks, but when they got to the point where they were really long, like waist length, I just didn't want to be in the salon. So I just, did it myself, and I would just do a quick style where I may not do a retwist. I just retwist, like cheat and retwist the front of my hair so it looked neat, but the back was in some other type of curl or something like that. So now in terms of salon, it's the barbershop. That's home for me now. Yeah. And even with my wash and goes, when I did that, because with wash and goes, you typically would have to do them every week or every 3 days, depending on the length of your hair. I only went to that salon at that time like once a month.
So talk a little bit about the barber experience, being a woman in the barber scene.
Ooh, it's so different now with a lot of the shops because they have these suites now. So you don't have that place of being uncomfortable, like in a male's, a dominated male area because they have the suites. So my barber, he's a young guy in his 20s. He has a suite. He have days where he have like wine Wednesday. So if you come on Wednesdays to get your hair done, you got wine, he got good music playing, it's good conversation. But it's always good to kind of be it because, just like you go in the hair salon and you kind of have that chat, it's like that chatty patty, the women talk about different things. It's no different from being in a barbershop with your barber. They talk just as much as we do. So it's always fun. I look forward to going to those to get my hair cut because you just get a different experience and a different viewpoint of, different topics that's going on, especially what men think about women. It's always fun to kind of hear those, different conversations. So, but it's been a great experience, not intimidating at all.
How did you find this barber?
I'm a master at researcher. So I actually found him on Booksy. Yeah.
Nice.
And I like his energy. I'm big on energy. So his energy is good. So that works for me.
That's good. When I first started doing interviews about a year ago, I started off doing interviews with men first. I would always ask them, like, when was their prime, like, I looked the best, like, time when they got their hair cut, and they would be, like, fresh out the chair first. They'll be like, I got to take all my pictures in the first hour before I do my first little wash at home. Like,
right.
So what is your equivalent to fresh out the chair? When do you think your hair looks like?
Is on point. I would say, okay, because I color my hair a lot and I bleach it every single time, I would say my fresh out the chair is probably the next day because the day I get my hair cut, I throw a hat on and, run any errands I got to do. And then the very next day, as soon as I get up in the morning, I'm bleaching my hair again. And then after that, I'm set. And the reason is because I keep the sides and the back low. Usually when he cuts it, it cuts the color out. So I kind of end up having this ombre effect where it's like color at the top, but then the sides and the back is black. So I'm not feeling that at all. So my fresh out the chair is definitely day 2 for sure.
Day 2. Okay, somebody else said day 2 earlier today too. So
yep,
we gotta let our hair settle. Sometimes we be like, I don't even know if I like this.
They be like, can I take a picture?
Yeah, exactly. Wear it the next day,
Yeah.
You gotta settle
with us. I feel it. Yes, exactly. Gotta marinate on us a little bit. Yeah.
Settle with us. Sure. So I know we're in this era of vacation braids and things like that. So like, what is your go-to vacation? Like, are you doing fresh color? Are you doing this? Maybe like back in the day, what was your go-to vacation style that you just like, oh yeah, I can just do this?
So back in the day, because I would probably say most of my hair journey, I probably spent longer with locks than anything else. So I would say my vacation hair back in the day with my locks was lock knots. And I would literally just take my lock and just kind of roll it up on itself. So it would give me this really cute, like short little bob style type of thing. And then maybe like after a few days of being there and I figured I was safe from the water, then I would take it out and then I would have like these really pretty curls. So I would it would be like a twofer style. I like to call it my twofer style. Now, since this is still kind of new For me, I want to say I just actually cut my hair low like this about maybe August. So I haven't had that first vacation just yet, but I can imagine it's definitely going to be a fresh shape up, a fresh cut, and definitely I'm going to slap a fresh color on it for sure. So, yeah.
Are you into designs yet?
I'm not big on the designs. I like my parts on the side. I'm good with that. I don't really want to get too much into the designs and stuff like that. Like it took me a while to find my look, like how low I like this. Sometimes, like my first couple of cuts may have been like too low, and I'm like, okay, that's too much hair. And then I found my sweet spot now, so I'm not quite ready to play with designs yet. Yeah.
Everybody that I talked to today so far already said that they're on the track of doing hair themselves and not really letting people touch their hair.
Mm-hmm.
You talk a little bit about like the change of, like, you talked about it a little bit already, like the change of salon culture and hairstylists and like all that, and how you said you were always kind of like, I want to do it myself anyway, but how has the change kind of affected your journey?
You mean in terms of how the salon culture is altogether? It's so much out there. I just think overall, it's just a matter of like the research. There were a lot of things that I didn't like, honestly. And I can't say I experienced this when I had my locks, because when I had my locks, I knew that particular loctician for the entire duration of my lock journey. So back then, there was never like these different apps like Booksy and Stylesy where you had to make an appointment. It was more personable. So I could just shoot a text and be like, hey, can you get me in on this day? And everything is good. So I would say in the transition of when I first cut my locks and I just wore wash and goes and wore naturally curly, that was a bit tough because I remember having to wait like 2 months for an appointment. And I was like, I got things to do. Like, is this how it's going to be all the time? So, and because I went to a cut it kinky specialist, they're hard to find. So I ended up driving all the way to Frederick to her. She's like an hour drive for me. And I did that. But once I got on the books, it was easier to book her. However, there still was the process of, okay, my books open up on the first of the month. So the first of the month at 6 p.m., you got to make sure you online to get your appointment, or you may be having to wait a whole nother month. So I really honestly didn't like that because, I think it take away just from being more personable with having a number and just being able to shoot a text. Whereas now with my barber, like he has his set hours, obviously, but it's always easy to just go in and book him. And if he's not, then he has the option of where I could just text him and say, hey, can you squeeze me in at this time? Or, squeeze me in at that time. And it works. But there's always, I think, a place of comfort just being able to do it yourself and not having to rely on people at all. So, and for me now with my hair, my hair grows fast. So literally in 2 weeks, it's time to get it cut. So I'm already on my calendar, like a week ahead of time, like, okay, I know I need my hair cut this time because I got this event, and trying to just map everything accordingly. So.
Yeah. So with the different phases, how has the workspace looked for you when it comes to redefining what professionalism look like and with black hair?
That's a good question. My journey overall I've been blessed, honestly, because it's been embraced where I have, like where I currently work, and I work for a school system, and I've been there for 18 years. And I've never had any issues with anything like me transitioning or changing my hair. I get a lot of compliments from just the different hair colors and being able to be, bold and just kind of stay true to who I am. So I like that environment because I probably would feel uncomfortable being somewhere where I felt like I had to either tone it down or not be who I am and show who I am just because of my workplace environment, and that's kind of unfortunate. So I haven't had, thank goodness, that experience of, where people look down at you if you wear your natural hair out, or, they look at you a certain way because your hair may be colored, type of thing, because I don't think those things obviously take away from your skill set and what you do, at work. So I've had a great experience, honestly, where I am with work. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Oh, and I missed part of my journey too. I forgot I had micro locks for like a hot second. So before I decided to cut my hair all off, in between my natural wash and goes, I actually started my own micro locks. Yep. I booked someone. She was a no-show. It was like $500. And yes, once I had my mind set on something, I want it done right then and there. I was refused to wait for her. So I took 3 days and I did my own micro locks. Yep. And then I allowed her to retighten my hair, and I wore my hair like that for about maybe 3 or 4 months. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this either. So, yeah.
The other people, it's crazy because one, it's so many people in this cast that either had locks or have locks.
Uh-huh.
And then all of y'all I interviewed today. So all of y'all just like, look here, I'm about to do it myself. What I'm going to do is do it myself.
Oh, that's it. Exactly. That part.
Like, Lord, y'all just like, who about to do it?
Nobody got time for that.
Nobody. So another thing too is that we always have this like debate of like people touching our hair and our hair in different ways. Sometimes it can be innocent and just built off of curiosity, and some just like, you just need to back the hell up off me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where, one, if it's an experience, or like, where are you with that, or what have you experienced with that idea?
Well, now it's much different because I'm a baldy, so I don't have to worry about anybody coming touching my head, and I think that would make me extremely uncomfortable because it is so close to my scalp. You know, I'm like, what are you, like, hold up, like, you all in my bubble, like, back up. But I do remember probably the most times I've had people touch my hair was definitely when I had locks, because they were, you know, so long. And typically a lot of times it would happen if I traveled like out of the country, and like somebody would walk up, and like you said, sometimes it comes from a place of innocence. So I try not to be like too like Black woman, like, what are you doing? You know, so, you know, I'll kind of like maybe gently like turn my body in a way where they don't have a choice but to kind of drop my hair. But a lot of times they would touch it because they wanted to know like if it was real, or, you know, like, oh my gosh, it's really grew from your scalp type of thing. So yeah, I definitely experienced that, but I kind of expected that, especially during that time, because I started my locks during the time where it wasn't like a fashion piece like it is now. And, you know, now a lot of times people, quote unquote, what I like to say, cheat. They like to get, you know, lock extensions because they don't want to go through the phases. So they want to instantly have the long hair, you know, whereas I never did that. So sometimes I think people, as it got longer towards the end before I cut it, would always ask, are those extensions? And I'm like, no, this is my hair. So yeah, I kind of knew that a lot of times it came from a place of innocence. Obviously, nobody wants some random person touching them. But I think I handled it for the most part with grace and understanding.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Were you a person that kind of like made your own products, or were you like, I'm just going to go to the store and do this? I'm not about to do no science experiment in here.
Ooh, so I became the DIY after I had my daughter. So with her hair, before she decided to lock her hair was thick, just like mine was as a child. And so I definitely went into that whole DIY phase where I was making different creams. I got shea butter and aloe vera and different oils and did that whole gamut thing, which was fun. I enjoyed doing it. And I actually had a hair blog with my daughter. So, and when I was married at the time, I used to do my stepdaughter's hair, my daughter's hair, my niece's hair. So I used to have literally a house full of girls where I did hair. So I literally started a hair blog and ran that for some years. And a lot of, you know, moms who maybe didn't know how to do hair would kind of ask me questions. And then I would like send them samples of like my shea butter mix, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, this is great. So yeah, that was kind of always my thing. And I would take pictures and post them. So I really enjoyed doing that. However, I also had a lot of fun and becoming a whole product junkie, because at the time doing that, when I first went natural, it was not this whole natural hair movement at all. But, you know, for the time when I had my daughter, it was like this movement, and it was so many different products. And so it was just so enticing to just try all of the different products to see what worked best. So I definitely had a combination of, I was a DIY, but I definitely became a product junkie for sure. So it was fun, but it's good to streamline and find out what you need and know you don't need all of that stuff, and just be good and save your coins.
Oh, really? I love making my own deep conditioner, but
Oh yeah.
that's my favorite thing to do. But the rest of the stuff, I'm out.
Right. You like tap out. Yeah, I wish I had known all that stuff when I first went natural. I wonder if that would have changed if I decided to lock my hair or not, because there just wasn't as much information at that time. And I remember the first time I washed my hair in its natural state, and I tried to blow dry it. And I remember sitting in the middle of the floor crying with a blow dryer because like my hair shrunk so much, and like I did not know what to do with it. I'm like, this is a hot tangled mess. So I wish I had known then what I know now. So
yeah, I feel you, because we all go through it like, let me just learn something because I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I want to end off by having you do a color me curly means statement. And I can give you some time to do this. We have about 9 minutes before this log is out anyway. So pretty much this can be, you can say it means, you can say different words that come to mind. You can make a phrase, you can just say a word or whatever. But color me curly means, and you're just going to kind of define that for yourself.
Color me curly means a celebration of hair, from resistance to liberation, and its power in knowing our hair is unique, beautiful, and adaptable.
Amazing. I thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Awesome. Thank you.
This was great. This is helpful. At least I did something productive today.
On your snow day, on your work from home day today.
I was like, if we can't do this fitting, I'm doing something to move.
Yeah, we're gonna check some of these X's off these boxes here.
Something got to get done. Something.
Yeah. Good job for productivity. That's amazing.
Right.
Got to be productive.
Right. Well, enjoy the rest of your snow days.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Detangled Story Podcast. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things. Also, follow AJ Collabs on all social media platforms. But before I let you go, I'm going to leave you with this affirmation. We love our hair. We honor our hair. We are our hair. Peace, y'all. Bye.